Welcome to this week's deep dive. This week we have the fantastic Jeff Becker from Kotis Design. He's the president and he joined us this week on the promo chat. So welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So this was an interesting one because we talked about volunteerism on this week's topic, and we had lots of people join in and give all their thoughts because this group is very in tune with volunteering, especially since a bunch of them are actually our promo chat volunteers. And once you get into the community, it's hard to get out. But your topic is a little bit on the side adjacent part of this in that you talked about donations. So I'm going to read our tweet and then your tweet, and then we'll chat about it a bit. So ours was simple in that we said, how do your employers in your company encourage volunteering? And you came back with, as an industry, I want us to come together to find places we can donate the not needed items instead of the trash. We recently had a client who asked us to donate 8 pallets of stuff. We don't have good options. Small stuff, yes, but not this much. Okay, lots to cover in that case. And you kind of went on to sort of be like, we should figure out a national network of sort of where this stuff can go. And it started a side discussion of schools and organizations that would need this. So what was your answer to your client? And what do you think something like this looks like?
Yeah, no, and I think it's interesting because I sort of parlayed volunteering into this because I think that either way it's giving back. This is a major issue in our industry. Like if you look back at the Fast article that was written by the lady about how swag is garbage, and then you have Patagonia right now, who ASI wrote this big article about how they got this wrong in regards to Patagonia pulling out, not letting the logo on it. This idea of donating unused items is a massive issue in our industry. We, on the specific topic, we had 8 pallets to donate. They are still going to sit on our shelves. They're just not going to go anywhere until most likely we get a dumpster and we throw them in the garbage. Because organizations will take them on a one-off basis. Here, they'll take them there. I'll take 48 jackets. Or you read places and say, oh, I donated 3,000 pens to a school. I mean, that's great. 3,000 pens takes up like 4 little boxes. I'm talking 8 pallets of stuff here. And this isn't like a one-off basis. Unfortunately, we make swag in our industry and the logos change. Logos change, products change, initiatives change, and we need a solution for where to donate these products here. And so that's why I came with a solution of like this sort of this national network where we could set up, and I have a lot of ideas in regards to that.
I mean, it would be so interesting because the need is there for things. I know a lot of other suppliers will do this in that. So Brian Dolan made the example of like he gets misprints and pens and donates them to church services. And I have collected misprints and like sort of not ruined, but like tiny holes, like things that don't pass quality control. And I've donated or I organized it and donated it to a homeless shelter. And for that, it was amazing. And there's kind of the problem is when it becomes brand fill, like when you've either ordered too much or you haven't ordered wise, and so it comes into two different things here. Is like, how do you deal with that for your client? But also, how do you stop that before it starts? Like, how do you stop brand fill in that way?
Brand fill. Well, I mean, our big initiative this year is to sell less swag. And we just put a post on this on Earth Day. And the goal isn't to sell less dollars worth of swag. The goal is to sell less items, but better items. Better water bottles, better jackets, better, I'd rather sell a marine layer t-shirt than a cheap 5.4 ounce, 100% cotton fabric shirt. I want to sell items that are top of drawer. So when you go open up the drawer, it's an item you want to pull out. I want to encourage a customer, instead of slapping your logo hugely on your side, maybe let's do a woven label and put it on the bottom. The fact is, and I think this Patagonia questions is a real issue. And I don't think they got it wrong. There's a lot of debate saying that they got it wrong. I think that they made a big push that in the past where like you could they censored what logos that were allowed to. My opinion would be is censor the size of the logo. Shrink the size of the logo. The fact is you're buying a Patagonia jacket because you want a Patagonia jacket. And when someone leaves the organization, I want them to still wear that jacket. I don't even want to give someone a Kotis logo that's huge on the Kotis on the side. I'd rather give them a tiny little logo on the bottom because that's going to prevent from swag fill. Is that what you called it?
Brand fill.
Brand fill.
Danny Rosen calls it brand fill.
Got it. The problem though is that a lot of what I'm talking about isn't even brand fill. It's just leftover stuff, or it's a change of a logo where the marketing person doesn't know it. And the church organization's good and saving your few misprints is good. But I am convinced that there's a massive amount of brand fill that has opportunity to be donated. Take the Super Bowl. After the Super Bowl, they take the losing items and they usually send them to Africa. Problem with sending things to Africa is it's very expensive to send things to Africa. And you have to find someone who's good. And too often, when items get sent to Africa, they don't actually get donated. They actually go in the black market, and the black market still starts selling the products, which some people argue is okay. However, that actually takes away from the people who are actually selling product in Africa and hurts the culture because these people are now getting the items for free and they should be getting donated here. So what I want to do, I came up with, is I want to build a network. And totally coincidentally, before you even asked me to go on this, I had a meeting with my team and I'm like, what if we built a website, not a business, where we build a site where distributors and suppliers can all log on, but we can also have organizations across the country. I mean, I want thousands of organizations to log on and sort of pin, where are you? What's your address? What's a phone number? And say, I want something. So if, let's say I have a client who's in Louisville and wants to donate stuff, I'm just going to look in Louisville and say, oh, look, there's the Louisville, women's shelter, and they're looking for product. And it's really like a shared network of how do we stop the brand fill? How do we change the image of our industry? And we actually become supportive, assuming it's not an item that you can't prevent from making. Like we're trying to do is we're trying to like really stop making like cheap swag, like really items that people want, really doing a deep dive into what people want. After that, though, we got to find a better way to get rid of the stuff. And if we all work together, I think that we actually could do this.
Yeah. Build smart products, buy smart products, sell that, and kind of avoid that. But so I'm hearing you volunteer for this, so we'll tie back to our theme. But it is that idea of like, there are communities in need, and how do we make it easy for them to get what they need? And I don't know, I keep thinking of food banks. So food banks will take large donations and they just kind of put it out on their, like on this massive network. And it's like, I've got 10 tons of pickles, but I really need cereal. Like, I'll trade you this. So maybe that's what we start thinking about in terms of that. So if anyone out here is listening and wants to help out Jeff, go for it. And otherwise, I wish you the best, because I think this is something there's such a need out there, especially now, that turning something into trash when it is totally functional for someone just seems a waste of resources and just puts a bad name to you. But at the same time, there's a lot of organizations out there that will take it and recycle it. There's one company here, Redwood, and what they did was they took umbrellas that weren't in the proper branding and just repurposed them into pillows. And so think outside the box for what you're doing with stuff, rather than just, okay, I got to get a dumpster for this.
Sorry about that. Did you see that call?
Yeah, no, it's good.
Sorry about that. That happened, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so Jeff, any other words of wisdom that you want to share with people about sort of selling smart, or, thinking about your community in terms of what you have?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I think there's a huge opportunity to do this. But I also think though that, I'm so torn. I'm so torn between your Redwood example, and we have this idea where we can like take old shirts and like print over them, or there's great opportunities to take an embroidery and then take a embroidered patch and put it on top. I'm so torn between those being like great stories and this massive underlying issue of all this extra product that exists out there. And so, yeah, I mean, I want to know if somebody has a great solution of where to donate these stuff. Like, I want to know, like, how can we do this? But I also encourage people in our industry, like, it's not just about selling as much as you can. Like, it's not
Yeah.
about taking every single order. To the suppliers out there, we gotta really think about these items we're making. It's not a race to, it shouldn't be a race to the bottom for price. We've got to come up with better products for our customers. For distributors out there, like, don't just take every order. Like, if someone says, I need 1,000 pens at 19 cents, but you don't think this pen's good, educate your customer that 500 better pens or 250 better pens is a much better idea here. Like, I agree with this whole concept in the fast, like in, fast companies. And I agree with this idea that Patagonia is saying. I think it's a tough situation that we all need to really band together on and improve to help our own companies, our own communities, and our industry to really like improve the vision and how people think about the work that we're doing, so that the amazing work we're doing isn't getting lost by this just substantial waste problem.
Yeah. And it helps the reputation. Like, I've had multiple conversations in the past month of being like, oh yeah, you're in the trinkets and trash, which is like, I think it just is a trigger for so many people. But if we continue to just sell trinkets and create trash, then that's exactly what we're going to be considered as. And that's not what we are, because we're marketing. We're an arm of marketing, and we should act that way. Exactly. Well, Jeff, fantastic. How can people find you on the internet to give you all their ideas?
All right. Well, I'm not that good of an interneter, but if you do want to find me, you can email me. If you really care, at Jeff, Jeff.Becker, Becker, at kotisdesign.com. Or my Twitter handle is at Jeff Becker Swag.
It's a solid choice.
That's sort of where I exist, those two spots.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us for the deep dive, and thank you for joining us for Promo Chat. Remember, everyone, you can join in on Promo Chat every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. And thank you to our sponsor, Maple Ridge Farms, for helping us get this out into the world. So thank you, Jeff, and have a great day.
Thank you.